Now, the prospect of a full-scale debt cancellation program to lighten the financial strain on Nigeria, Ghana, and other African economies has been rejected by the International Monetary Fund. In his remarks at the ongoing 2023 World Bank Group-IMF annual meetings in Marrakech, Morocco, Abebe Selassie, the IMF's director for Africa, asserts that since local creditors account for 50% of the region's debt, any discussion of debt cancellation must be handled carefully. In his remarks on the theme in pursuit of stronger growth and resilience at the IMF summit, Selassie insisted that there is no super magic to wave away debts. The IMF chief noted that there should be country-specific dialogue on how to reschedule the debts. To speak on this, we're joined by CEO Asheer Dynamic Solutions, Muktar Mohammed. It's good to see you again, sir. The director of the IMF's African departments proposed holding country-specific discussions on how to renegotiate their debts. What peculiarities would you suggest to help in Nigeria debt restructuring negotiations?
Well, I think Nigeria is in a very difficult situation because, again, when you look at our debt with IMF, it's not just IMF that's really our major debtor. We're looking at debt that we have with the Chinese and also other international donors. With IMF, I don't think this debt profile is as large as what we have with other countries. But again, when you look at what should we be proposing as Nigerians to IMF, I think we should be asking for a debt holiday because not that we won't have to pay, but when Africa is looking for debt forgiveness, no international donor energy so to give African debt forgiveness because of what they believe that most of these debt are structural debt. Most of these debts also are debts that has been used for corrupt purposes, and so definitely they will want to give Africa some debt holiday. Maybe a country like Nigeria will need debt holiday because when debt is taking about 90-something% of our budget, so we don't have budget for capital expenditure. I think that is what we should be looking at, maybe a debt holiday for the next 4 to 5 years. That could be a game changer for us.
That would be interesting. According to data from the DMO, Nigeria's entire debt stock as of June 30, 2023 was $113.4 billion. What do you consider to be the main causes of the nation's high debt level?
Well, you must attribute it to the former administration of President Buhari. That was an administration that never think outside the box. That was an administration that had brought Nigeria to its knee economically. All they thought about in that administration was, any project they have to do, they have to borrow. There was never a time they thought about thinking something differently. They just wanted to borrow for every project, and they were only looking at our debt to GDP. They weren't looking at our debt to revenue. And I think so what we should be doing now as a country is to begin to look at our debt to revenue. What I keep saying is that we have the projects. We could also use that project, the PPP, type of a partnership, whereby you tell them to, okay, maybe example is the Lagos-Ibadan Expressway, where they have to do the construction and you just hand over the project for them for the next 25 years. By 25 years time, then you collect it when they have made their money, or you can renegotiate it also. But what we did during the other administration was just to collect a loan, and we want to build this infrastructure. We didn't want the public sector to be involved. So I think what we should do now is to see how we can work together with the public sector, especially in the build and operate manner. We've seen that work in MMM2. We've seen that also work in some other projects within Nigeria. I think that is what we should be thinking of doing.
All right, after utilizing loan facilities, it's been claimed that the majority of African nations invested their money in projects that produce virtually nothing. Some governments have also been accused of corruption, which analysts claim is the cause of their debt difficulties. Could the Nigerian government have avoided its current debt predicament?
We could have avoided it. I mean, you can say that again, we could have avoided it, especially when you look at some of those debts were used to pay salary. especially if you, from your report, the IMF was also saying that most of these debts are domestic debt. And if you look at Nigerian debt, the ways and the means was actually debt that we collected from CBN just to pay salary. That's more or less a big challenge. And you look at the state government, some of the state government, they collect debt for white elephant projects. You're talking of some states thinking of building airports, some of them thinking of building dry airport. Yeah, some states that are close to Lagos are thinking of, oh, could establish airports in our states and planes will begin to land there, and then people will move from Lagos or from that place to their place of destination. And they didn't take into consider the security challenges, the proximity, the whether people really want to land there. And so they just come and build an airport project. Some of them said, okay, we'll build cargo. They're not looking at this, the logistic of moving cargo from maybe Ogun State or Osun State to Lagos, which is the commercial hub city of the country. So we're just busy about just trying to do projects and white elephant projects, especially the state government. For the federal government, I thought all they were doing was to collect those debt to pay salaries. And because all other projects were all projects that were handled between Chinese and Nigerian government, they are all debt-induced projects. So I think we should think differently and make sure we are doing projects that, especially state government, state government, that will impact their people rather than pursuing white elephant projects for the glory of their names.
Thank you very much, Muktar, for speaking with us.
My pleasure.